Yes, villagers. Today we're going to be talking about 4 ways to stop caring what other people think. If you want to find out what those are, you are in the right place. If you're new to this channel, welcome to our village. If you're a returning villager, welcome as well. So, let's get into it. Welcome to Garden of the Mind, where we reduce stress, improve our health and fitness, and improve our financial IQ every episode. From the time we start to grow up, we are constantly seeking approval. First, it starts with our parents. Then it might go to our teachers. Then it may go to our friends. Then our mates. Being that we live with other people, it's also important for us to know what other people are thinking about us. But that can be a double-edged sword, because if what they're thinking is very negative, then it has an adverse effect on us. If it's positive, then it has a positive effect on us. But the trick is to figure out how much do you care about what other people think and how much do you care about what you think. Tip number 1, explore the reason why you care so much. As we just talked about, some of it is for approval, some of it is for validation, but in each of us, we have a delicate balance on exactly what that ratio is in our lives and how important these things are to us. So in our case, what is the reason why we're seeking this approval so much? Why is it that it bothers us if people aren't thinking about us in this particular light? There are plenty of different reasons for that, but we have to figure out what that reason is for ourselves individually. Tip number 2, use your power and not the perceived power of someone else. Since we live in communities, there are always people who we admire, and there's certain qualities that we admire about them. Either they have a certain charm to them, or they dress well, or does this person have a whole lot of influence in our peer circle? Whatever the reason is, we can't get caught up and looking at someone else as if they have all of the power and we have none of the power. What do I mean by that? When we are talking about a person who has influence, we are focusing on their particular influence and not our influence in the situation. While they may have the audience captive, that doesn't mean that we can't sharpen up our skills and get to a level where we can have that same level of admiration that we are providing for someone else. Or sometimes we think, well, if this one person validates me from this industry, I'm going to have it made in the shade. But when we say things like that, we are thinking about all that they can do for us as opposed to what we can do for ourselves. Whatever it is that they have, they had to get it some way. And we also can get it the same way without necessarily their validation, their approval, or their endorsement. Tip number 3, people are not going to always like you. Now, a lot of us know that in our head, but not in our heart. So we know that logically there's going to be some people out there, but emotionally when we are going through life and we get an opportunity to come face to face with that person that doesn't like us, we think that there's got to be a reason why. If we were to do one thing differently, then maybe they'll like us. Psychologically, that's what many of us are thinking. But oftentimes, there is nothing that we can do. Some people just don't like us because they don't like us. There is not anything that we might be able to do or change to get them to like us. I've come across a wonderful saying, and I wish I knew who said it to give them the credit. But it says, if you want everybody to like you, then sell ice cream. The bottom line is no matter what it is that you do, there are always going to be some people who are not going to like you, who are not going to be happy with what it is that you do. And that's also not based on your ability. Tip number 4, know your limits. The best thing that you can do is your personal best. Once you have done your personal best, that's all that you can do. There's nothing else that anyone can expect of you. There's nothing else that you can expect of yourself. So while you are facing this criticism, you should be the only critic whose voice matters. If you've done your best, it is so much easier for you to turn up the voice in your head and turn down the voices of the critics. Part of knowing your limits is knowing what it is that you can't go around. There are some people who are great and at the top of their game They'll put something out on social media, but they'll be sure not to read the comments. There are some people who are deeply affected by the comments. So they might get 1,000 positive comments and 2 negative, and those 2 negative sticks with them, and that interferes with their talent moving forward and possibly their self-esteem. So there's some people who don't read the comments no matter what. You have to figure out exactly who you are and know exactly what your limits are and what is going to allow you to do your best work. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you like this channel, please subscribe. If you want to know when I post, which is Wednesday, click on that notification bell. You get that ding on your phone and you know that a new video is waiting for you. And remember, thoughts are actions, words have power, and actions have consequences. I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'll see you then.